So since this is primarily a battle episode, Season 2, Episode 6, The Tragedy. Yeah, Land of the Flesh Raiders. Maybe they're all dead? I mean, we did kill a lot of them as we were going through this. I do like this little tidbit of, I can't train you, you're too powerful. I agreed to take you back to your own kind. Yeah, are there, we've only had, a grand total of 4 of Yoda's species ever. I'm not sure there is, another one. But I get the point. I also really like how completely out of his element Mando is here. He's talking a lot. And you really start to feel a lot of his uncertainty and his nervousness as he's trying to wrap his mind around something that is completely alien to him. There's a degree of fear, there's a degree of uncertainty. And then we see Slave One approach, and he's just like, got it. That's life now. Meanwhile, Grogu has success. Look, nobody cares about Yaddle. Nobody even noticed Yaddle. Slave One shows up, and Grogu has successfully connected to the Force line. And then we see Boba. We've already seen Boba, but we really get a nice up-front shot of him. And he does not look good. I don't think his time in the pit did him any favors. To learn more about his past, go watch Book of Boba Fett. Sorry. We also see that Fennec now literally has cyber guts, which continues to impress me with the level of cyberware that this setting has. So Grogu is stuck on the Force line. Can't leave it. So we have a standoff. There's another action-y sequence, and there's really not a lot to talk about here. They've got a lot of troops on that transport, and the stormtroopers continue to be terrible at their jobs, and so they have to bring in a second transport to just overwhelm with sheer numbers. I also find it amusing that Mando actually spends 3 distinct attempts trying to push through the Force. Can't do it. One more try. Okay, he gives up. We also see an interesting sequence where they really are just getting overwhelmed by sheer numbers, which makes sense. That's kind of the Stormtrooper MO right there, isn't it? So, yeah, I wonder how it processes food. There's a scene which I cannot help but enjoy, even though it's kind of a bad scene. It's pretty much the same scene we saw when Bo-Katan showed up and just kind of bodied all of the pirates. It's a scene where Boba just shows up and kind of bodies all the stormtroopers and then destroys both ships with a single rocket. It's a little bit much. I have to point out, it is a little bit much, but it's still really satisfying to watch. So I think I'm going to give it a pass on sheer virtue of execution. Having said that, we do notice that Palpatine's apprentice has returned. Somehow. Darth Boulder is back. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Rex. It's like, do we have anything other than popcorn here? I mean, we do. There's a couple of good moments here. But yeah, why didn't Boba get his armor from Cobb? To find out more answers to this question, go watch the Book of Boba Fett. I actually know some of the answers there. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with sand people. Tuscans. So yeah, Boba just shreds through them, and the Aquitans gets in a single shot, instantly obliterating the Razor Quest. Yeah, that's why they're called turbo lasers. I actually like that. Capital grade weaponry is on a whole other tier from most weapons, and that makes sense that a single turbo laser shot should be able to do this kind of power. So yeah, I'm with that. So there goes the Razor Quest, and huge props to what I assume is Pedro Pascal. He physically gets across exactly how big of a hit that is to him. It's almost frustrating that they have been keeping this poor ship alive for almost 2 full seasons, and then poof. Yeah, no, a battleship in orbit, even a light cruiser like this thing, should be impressive. It should be terrifying. And here we are. So they send down the Dark Troopers, which we actually finally see those suckers in action. That's cool. They grab Grogu, they run off. Slave One is tracking them, he sees them, and there's this weird line. It's a really weird line that doesn't make any sense to me. And I want to chew on this line, because there's this bit where Boba goes up, sees the Imperial cruiser, it's an Arco 10 light cruiser, and says, "They're back." Yeah? Like, I'm sorry, this is such a strange scene, because it makes sense that Boba would know that. He's been a little bit preoccupied over the last 6 years, 9 years, whatever it is at this point. However long it's been since return. But at the same time, why is this scene here for us? We know they're back. We know they've never left. That's part of the problem, actually. I have no idea, Triaxia. I mean, Twitch is just Twitch. There's a reason I don't rely on that for notifications and streams. And again, it's not even a bad line. It's just a line that makes me go, okay. So, of course, the Beskar spear survived the blast, which I actually don't buy. I'm sorry, Beskar's tough, but that thing got hit by a turbo laser blast. Like, Beskar can melt, right? Just saying. Yeah, maybe it's a setup for Book of Boba Fett. I don't know. I haven't actually watched Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, that's a good thing. A silent reaction would have probably worked a lot better. Again, because it makes sense for Boba to be like, oh my god, the Empire's back. But again, it's just a weird line for us. Anyways, Fennec and Boba have his back pretty well here. I'll give you that, Hazardous. Boba and Fennec have his back, and then he goes to recruit Mayfeld. Okay. It's also interesting to me how Cara is no longer willing to bend to go after imps, because she's got the stripes now, and again, Ranger setup. But she is willing to bend for Grogu. And then we see Grogu, who is going after the Stormtroopers very violently, which makes me think of exactly where his memories are on that. And Gideon just lets him because he's a stupid, evil boss who thinks he's a tin pot dictator. And then the episode ends. And you'll notice that we've only been talking about this episode for 7 minutes. Now, this is a short episode to begin with. But that's sort of my point. I don't have much to say about it. And you know my rule. I don't like to make up stuff. Like, I don't have a deadline. I don't have a floor or a ceiling for how much I talk about a particular topic. So, I don't have much to talk about here. Yeah, I'm playing the battle music for a reason. What is there to comment on Boba's return? First of all, this is the 3rd time we've seen him in this show, Hazardous. We've actually already seen an episode that was entirely setting up his show. And then this one, which, so actually, what this is now our 2nd pilot episode for the Book of Boba Fett. In 1 season, I feel like adding. I felt the Razor Quest. I did. I did. That was just a hit. I was actually shocked by that. Like, that just, they hit, and I was just like, damn. That, okay. I'm with that. They actually just finally killed off a character in this show. That's impressive. It's also, yeah, all the work, all the crap it's been through, everything it's survived. Remember when it didn't even have, like, proper atmosphere? Except for the cockpit? My immediate thought was, how the hell does he get around in Season 3? Yeah, that's another thing. Boba and Din, like... Boba and Din have a nice scene. Where Boba mentions, you know, I am the child of a foundling. Which, of course... Jaren immediately is like, yeah, no, I gel with that. And Mando also immediately says, you know, dead is clean, take the armor, it's yours. It is Boba who decides to back his play. I'm actually not even sure why. You could say that Boba's trying to be a more good person, or maybe they're trying to showcase him being a better person leading into the Book of Boba Fett, where he is the protagonist of that show, obviously. But it does kind of make me wonder, since the Book of Boba Fett, the premise, at least as of this point in time, was supposed to be Boba Fett becoming a crime lord. which usually doesn't line up with this kind of thing. Don't mistake me. Boba, over in the EU, he went through a weird arc, because a lot of people tend to forget that he was pretty horribly brutal, ruthless, evil. He was the personal bodyguard of Darth Vader, and Darth Vader had to warn him no disintegrations. A lot of people tend to skip over some of the interactions of him in the first two films. The EU started fleshing that a little bit more. He came back in Dark Empire, actually, I'm almost positive, where they in the comic books, where he started, you know, trying to soften a little bit, but he was still like the bad guy. And then we skip forward like 20 years, both in universe, and like 8 years or so in real life time. And all of a sudden that he's back, but also he's like trying to restore the Mandalorians, and he's actually a good guy now. What I'm trying to say is the reason Boba got his thing was because he was popular. And then some writers wanted to take him into a new direction. And sure. But my overall point here is it makes sense to me that Boba would have some kind of a life-changing experience having gone through the Sarlacc pit, because it's a Sarlacc pit. And so I kind of like the idea of him shifting into being a better person here pretty well. Like, I actually like the AU's approach here better than the EU's approach. Which leads me to question everything about Book of Boba Fett. What I think about him in live action. I mean, Emma Morrison does a pretty decent job of it, especially his voice. He looks rather old and rather scarred. I liked his Maori fighting style. That was some good stuff. Okay, we've successfully dragged this over the 10-minute marker. I think we've done it. Yeah, he should have become a Talon Card. He didn't. I've actually seen, of all of the shows, the two I am most aware of are Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett. So I'm pretty aware of what happens in both shows. So there's a reason I keep kind of having this in the back of my voice here, because Boba's pretty legit here, right? In Mandalorian, and I'm kind of with it. He's a badass with his frickin' stick, and he's a badass once he gets back in his armor. Although I kind of wish he'd fought with the stick and the armor, but I do understand that there's physicality problems with having the actor do that. Listen, I gotta get over the 10-minute mark as it is. But the catch here is, I know that Book of Boba Fett's coming. I don't have anything else to add to that. Anyways. Really? This song? So, how are we rating this? It's not orange. I'm just going to say that. There's nothing on this that pushes it up to orange. I'm sorry. Yeah, one of the biggest reasons that I'm aware of Boba Fett is because Boba Fett specifically leads into Mandalorian Season 3. And I'm aware of that. It made such a splash that they deliberately used it at... Whoops. No, that's right. And they deliberately used that as that bridge, that it hit my attention. Yeah, I think... Hang on, so let's look at how long the next episode is. Oh, it's a pretty short one. Looks like about 32 minutes. I think we can knock that out before lunch. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, no, we're finishing Season 2 today, 100%. Like, even if I wasn't having shorter episodes, that's happening, right? Like, we're right here. We've only got 2 episodes left. I would have to, like, fall asleep for 4 hours to not finish Mandalorian today. Yeah, let's do this episode. Then I'll go ahead and take my lunch break. And then we'll finish up with the finale. How's that sound? Or do you want me to do it the other way? Do you want me to go ahead and have the lunch break now, and then we'll do the last 2 kind of back to back? The Dark Troopers are droids. And they use jetpacks. They didn't do anything with them. So no, I don't have any thoughts on the Dork Troopers yet. You know what? I think I agree. I think let's take our lunch break now. So since I am hungry, and then we'll go ahead and come back and we'll finish things up. So I'll be back in like an hour, and then we'll watch the last 2 episodes.